So Rage of Dragons, as you may know, is about dragons. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Just Another Struggling Writer, the beleaguered author's one-stop shop for commiseration and hopefully inspiration. My name is Carrie Scher, and I am just another struggling writer. Today I am doing my June TBR, and as you may recall, last month I did a little bit of a departure from my regular TBR construction because I had a bunch of library books that I had out and I wanted to motivate myself to actually get those read before I had to return them. I am sad to say that it didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. As of today, which is May 28th, I've only finished 3 books. All of them were from the library, but I have just been in a little bit of a slump. I've been super busy. I've been focusing a lot more on writing and engaging that side of my creativity, and it's left me feeling a little bit bereft when it comes to wanting to read. That being said, I'm not giving up on reading. It's just, even though it's taken a lower priority, I'm still going to be making my TBRs, and hopefully something will jar me out of this slump that I've been in. So with that in mind, for this month's TBR, I am taking one gimmick from my usual TBR construction that I have always really enjoyed, and that is the completely random draw. Regular viewers are familiar with this guy. He is my TBR mimic, and inside I have my entire owned library. And so what I have done is every book that I own that's either physically or on audio or on my Kindle, I have entered it into a spreadsheet, and each book corresponds to a number. And then I have put those numbers on slips of paper in this mimic. And that way it makes it completely, truly random. When I originally started the spreadsheet, it was just, I went through my Kindle and then I went through all my own books without really any rhyme or reason. And then lately it's just been, books that I've been buying recently. And adding to the bottom of the spreadsheet. So it, again, is truly random, not just in the random number, but also what it actually corresponds to. It's not by title or author name or anything like that. Totally, completely random. So what I'm going to do for this month's TBR, in the hopes that the randomness and the leaving it up to chance part is going to excite me into reading some books that I may not have actually picked myself for whatever reason. So, a few things. Not every book that has a number in here I'm actually going to be able to read if I draw it today, because there are sequels in here for series that I haven't even started yet. There are books that I've probably already read that I just haven't drawn out and discarded yet. So there may be a couple of misfires here, so I hope you bear with me. But I'm going to draw 6 numbers, check out what they correspond to on my spreadsheet, and that is going to be what I hopefully read for the month of June. So, without further ado, let's draw the first number. All right, like I said, I've got all of my numbers here. I like to give it a little mix up. Get that ASMR going. Okay, so the first number I have drawn, this is a recent one, 153. Let's see what that corresponds to. Okay, I said this was a recent one, and this was in, I think, my most recent book haul, and that is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick. I've heard a little bit about it. The magic system sounds really cool. I love the deck of cards concept, and I also like that it's a duology, so if I like the first one, I can wrap up the series. The second one is already out fairly quickly. So just to give you an idea, because I don't actually know myself what this book is about, Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mislocked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets a mysterious highwayman on the forest road, her life takes a drastic turn. Thrust into a world of shadow and deception, she joins a dangerous quest to cure Blunder of the dark magic infecting it. Except the highwayman just so happens to be the king's own nephew, captain of the most dangerous men in Blunder, and guilty of high treason. So this was blurbed by Alison Saft and Davinia Evans. So Great. I am actually really excited about this one. I think I will be motivated to read this one for sure. All right, so 1 down, just 5 more to go. Let's see if we get any more bangers. We're doing a little mix up here. Let's see, I got one from that side last time. Let's try down here in this corner. All right, so my second book is another fairly late one. You may not be able to read this one. It's kind of my chicken scratch. That's 128. Getting a lot of recent ones. Okay, this one actually works out. 128 corresponds to The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, and I had actually pinged this one as the next one I am going to listen to on audio because that is how I own this book. As many of you know, I am a very slow audio listener. I have audio processing issues, and so it is difficult for me to concentrate on audiobooks. I can't do what a lot of people do and listen to it while I'm multitasking because I actually find it too distracting. So it often takes me quite some time to get through it. So this might not be finished in June, but I had already planned on starting another audiobook soon. And so this actually works out great and just confirms to me that I had made the right choice to go ahead and start. I think it's like a 22-hour, maybe even longer than that, maybe like 24-hour audiobook. And I can only listen at 1.5 times speed. I cannot go any faster than that, again, because of my audio processing issues. So it will probably take me a little bit of time to get through it, but again, super motivated. A lot of you are probably already familiar with Joe Abercrombie and The Blade Itself, the First Law trilogy, but I am not. I am thinly read. So Logan Ninefingers, infamous barbarian, has finally run out of luck. Caught in one feud too many, he's on the verge of becoming a dead barbarian, leaving nothing behind him but bad songs, dead friends, and a lot of happy enemies. Nobleman Captain Jazal Dan Luther, dashing officer and paragon of selfishness, has nothing more dangerous in mind than fleecing his friends at cards and dreaming of glory in the fencing circle. But war is brewing, and on the battlefields of the frozen north, they fight by altogether bloodier rules. Inquisitor Glokta, cripple turned torturer, would like nothing better than to see Jazal come home in a box. But then Glokta hates everyone. Cutting treason out of the Union one confession at a time leaves little room for friendship. His latest trail of corpses may lead him right to the rotten heart of government, if he can stay alive long enough to follow it. Enter the wizard Bayaz, a bald old man with a terrible temper and a pathetic assistant. He could be the first of the Magi. He could be a spectacular fraud. But whatever he is, he's about to make the lives of Logan, Jazal, and Glokta a whole lot more difficult. Murderous conspiracies rise to the surface, old scores are ready to be settled, and the line between hero and villain is sharp enough to draw blood. I have heard that Joe Abercrombie's books are a little bit on the darker side with a lot of unlikable characters, and to be honest with you, that's not really my flavor, which is why I haven't picked up any of his books thus far. But I also know that I need to broaden my horizons a little bit, and I really would like a very popular in the genre book to actually hit for me, since there have been several that I didn't love or just weren't for me. So I have a feeling that this one might not be to my taste, but that is the reason I got it on audio, is because I find books that aren't to my taste easier to digest on audio, weirdly enough. Okay, so that is book 2. We're off to a really good start. Let's see if we can keep the trend going with number 3. So I went to one side, then I went to the other, and both of them were from the bottom, and yet they were still pretty recent. So I'm going to try and get one kind of from the middle here and see what that does. All right. Another recent one. See, it just wants me to read all the ones I've bought recently. Number 123. All right, let's check. All right, another book that I know literally nothing about, and that is These Burning Stars by Bethany Jacobs. I do know this is a sci-fi. It came in a book subscription box that I subscribe to. And yeah, I don't know anything about it. So let's see. On a dusty backwater planet, occasional thief June Ironway has gotten her hands on the score of a lifetime, a secret that could raise the kingdom, the ruling power of the galaxy. A star system away, preternaturally stoic Chono and brilliant hothead Essek, the two most brutal clerics of the kingdom, are tasked with hunting June down. and tracking all three across the stars is a ghost from their shared past, known only as Six. But what Six wants is anyone's guess. It's a game of manipulation and betrayal that could destroy them all, and they have no choice but to see it through. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, so none of these blurbs mean anything to me, but if I had to pick a second genre that I would like to read more of, it would be sci-fi. So I'm not mad at this either. So, and I am kind of loving that it's another physical book. I really want to read more physical books, even though they're a little bit harder for me since I actually have to be holding it and concentrating on it, and it's harder to multitask, but maybe that's a good thing. Okay, we are halfway there. Let's see what number 4 gives us. So I have just given up on understanding where any of these numbers are coming from. I don't know why all of them are recent ones, even though I've reached to the very bottom and I've reached off the very top. So we're just not even going to think about it. We're going to take this one and see what this one says. Here we go. Here's one that's a little bit older. That is number 46. Okay, and for number 46, we have The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. I know this one is about Norse mythology, which is great because I read A Fate Inked in Blood last month, and I really love the Nordic-inspired part of it. So I also love that this is just a standalone, so I can read it and put it down and not be engaging in another series that will take years to finish. So let's see. It says, Angrboda's story begins where most witches' tales end, with a burning. A punishment from Odin for refusing to provide him with knowledge of the future, the fire leaves Angrboda injured and powerless, and she flees to the farthest reaches of a remote forest. There she is found by a man who reveals himself to be Loki, and her initial distrust of him transforms into a deep and abiding love. Their union produces 3 unusual children, each with a secret destiny, who Angrboda is keen to raise at the edge of the world, safely hidden from Odin's all-seeing eye. But as Angrboda slowly recovers her prophetic powers, she learns that her blissful life and possibly all of existence is in danger. With help from the fierce huntress Scotty, with whom she shares a growing bond, Angrboda must choose whether she'll accept the fate that she's foreseen for her beloved family or rise to remake their future. From the most ancient of tales, this novel forges a story of love, loss, and hope for the modern age. Okay, so this is all, I first see this almost being like Circe by Madeline Miller, which I thought was fine. It was okay. It was one of the first books that I read as I was trying to get back into reading a couple years ago. So not my favorite type of story, but again, I do kind of love the Nordic mythology. It's a little bit fresh to me because I'm not super familiar with it. So I think that this could be really, really entertaining. And again, it's not a super high commitment because it's just a standalone. All right, that is 4 down, just 2 more to go. Let's see what number 5 is. Yes, nice and mixed up now. Going for a bottom one this time. Another recent one. That's 138. See, this is why I love doing these random draws, because number 5 is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I have been looking for an excuse to get to this one. I have heard a lot of really great things about the magic system, kind of like magical coding, and I have been super interested in this book since I first heard about it. It's come up on a lot of people's lists, and I have also been interested in trying this author for the first time. So if you haven't read this one says, Sansia Grado is a thief and a damn good one, and her latest heist on Tavane's docks is nothing her unique abilities can't handle. But unbeknownst to her, Sansia has been sent to steal an artifact of unimaginable power, an object that could revolutionize the magical technology known as scriving. If the ruthless merchant houses who control this magic, the art of using coded commands to imbue everyday objects with sentience, can unlock the artifact's secrets, they will rewrite the world itself to suit their aims. Now someone in those houses wants Sansia dead and the artifact for themselves. And in a city like Tavane, nobody has the power to stop them. To have a chance at surviving and stopping the deadly transformation that's underway, Sansia will have to marshal unlikely allies and undergo her own transformation. one that will turn her into something she could never have imagined. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This might be the first one I pick up. I love this concept so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. That's why I love the random draw. It makes me so excited to read it, and I've got another physical book, which I'm now starting to get nervous about because I don't know how I'm gonna read 6 physical books. Okay, we are down to our final random draw, and I have had a great selection so far. So I'm really excited to see what we're gonna turn up with this last draw. Oh, I've got 2 here. Let's see. Okay, we have number 24. So another one that's a little bit older, which is good because all of my newer books are all physical, and I really, really, really need a Kindle book. So let's see. Oh, okay. So this is The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Yeah, The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. And I have actually tried to read this one once, and I didn't really love the way that first of all, the fact that the prologue has like chapters and sections of its own really made me like go, oh my gosh. And second of all, it was from the perspective of the colonizers, and that made me feel gross. I went on to research it afterwards that it's not about the colonizers, it's about the people who were colonized, you know, hundreds of years after the prologue, and, you know, what happens and fighting back and all that stuff. So that makes me feel a little bit better. But at the time, I was like, I felt really icky about it, so I put it down. So Rage of Dragons, as you may know, is about dragons. The Omehi people have been fighting an unwinnable fight for almost 200 years. Their society has been built around war and only war. The lucky ones are born gifted. 1 in every 2,000 women has the power to call down dragons. 1 in every 100 men is able to magically transform himself into a bigger, stronger, faster killing machine. Everyone else is fodder, destined to fight and die in the endless war. Young, giftless Tao knows all of this, but he has a plan of escape. He's going to get himself injured, get out early, and settle down to marriage, children, and land. Only he doesn't get the chance. Those closest to him are brutally murdered, and his grief swiftly turns to anger. Fixated on revenge, Tao dedicates himself to an unthinkable path. He'll become the greatest swordsman to ever live, a man willing to die 100,000 times for the chance to kill the 3 who betrayed him. Okay, so I got my wish. This is one of my ebooks, so I'll be able to at least balance that out with all these physical ones that I have. And yeah, I'm excited to get back into this one after not giving it a fair shake the first time. So yeah, another kind of dark fantasy, another dragon book. You may recall from last month's video that I tried to read a bunch of dragon books and I only ended up with 1. I only ended up reading 1 dragon book. Hopefully this one pans out a little bit better. But yeah, so another great selection, another one that I may not have selected on my own without this random draw. And that is it. Those are the 6 books that I am going to attempt to read in the month of June. Which one do you think I should tackle first? I'm thinking Foundry Side. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these and which ones you think I should try first. That is everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my content and want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing. It would be so appreciated. For my next video, I have got another weekly writing vlog for you. I hope you look forward to it, and I will see you then.